The earth is covered in water, and only a few people are saved. But why? In today's episode of the Bible in 66 books, we're going to find out when God destroyed the world with a flood and how the whole thing went down. And Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Then God said to Noah, "You are right in everything you have done. Come with 7 pairs of every kind of clean animal, the male and female, and 7 pairs of every kind of unclean animal. You are to take with you every kind of living thing that is to keep its kind alive, pairs of male and female, to come into the ark with you. Everything that moves along with you shall be kept alive. All their food, whatever they eat, you are to store up for them, along with grain, plants, fresh fruit, sealed in their skins for food and drink. For you and for them, and for every other living thing with you, it will be food." Well, in Exodus chapter 7, verse 17, it says, "Say therefore to the Egyptians, Thus says the Lord, surely in this thing you will take no delight." And it says, "And the Lord spoke to me, saying, Only do not be negligent because of them." However, I think that is a misunderstanding, because Genesis 7:21 says, "And everything that was on the face of the ground died." We learned that the earth was corrupt and filled with violence. People were doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. And God looked down on the earth and saw that it was bad. God decided that he was going to judge the world for its sin. So he sent a worldwide flood to cleanse the earth of all sin. God told Noah to build a boat so that he and his family and representatives of all kinds of animals could be saved. The flood lasted for 40 days and 40 nights. And when it was over, most of the animals and all of humanity, except for Noah and his family, were dead. Also, Jesus referenced this flood in Matthew chapter 24 and 25, and he said that this flood was a sign of the end times. "Do not call evil good and good evil. Do not eat food with them, or give your daughters as wives to their sons, or take their daughters as wives for your sons. For they will turn away their sons from following me, worshiping Baal. Will even corrupt your daughters who follow after other gods, prostituting themselves with the people of the land." If you want to interact with us, leave a comment down below. And if you want to keep watching, click the video right there. Until next time, thanks for watching. For thus you would completely corrupt among the nations to whom the Lord your God is jealous. For these nations have gods of silver and gods of gold, household images and teraphim that they worship. And I am angry with them. So in this passage, God tells Israel that if they obey him, they won't have to go through something terrible. But if they don't listen to him, then they will experience what happened to the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. And then God says, "Will I utterly destroy them? If I do not destroy them, I will punish them and visit them for their conduct, making them few in number, and I will increase their anguish. And I will deliver them of pestilence, of fever, and of inflammation. I will also destroy any who remain there with the sword. Their daughters will I give to death, and their sons to captivity, and their houses I will despoil." So in this passage, it doesn't say exactly what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah, but it gives us a hint of what might happen if they don't listen. "Thus says the Lord, if you will not listen to me, and will not regard my signs, which I will perform among you, believing the Egyptians, so I will deal with Pharaoh, with the heart of Egypt, with the spirit of his leaders, and with the minds of his wise men. Surely the Lord will put Pharaoh's heart to hardness, and he will indeed heed him not." Then Moses and Aaron performed these signs before Pharaoh. And the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he did not heed them, just as the Lord had told Moses. And it says that God hardened the Pharaoh's heart. And there was one plague called the waters turning to blood. And that happened in Exodus chapter 7, verses 19 to 21. It says, "Speak now to Aaron, take your staff, and stretch out your hand over the waters of Egypt, over their rivers, over their streams, and over their ponds, and I will turn them to blood." So he stretched out his hand at the river and turned the water to blood. The fish in the river died, and the river stank, and the Egyptians could not drink the water. There were bloodworms, and the water became foul. But the sons of Israel, even he had to remove himself from being with the Egyptians. They were able to leave. So during this time, when God was hardening Pharaoh's heart, God did turn the water to blood. However, it says that it only affected the Egyptians, not the Israelites. Okay, so just in case you missed it, God's plan is to flood the entire earth for 40 days and 40 nights. And he is telling Noah to build this giant boat so that he and his family and a bunch of animals can survive. The male and female too, of every kind of bird, the male and female, so they can live with you. On the 17th day of the month, all the fountains of the great deep burst forth, and the sluice gates of the heavens were opened. All right, so on this day, everything changed. This is the day that the flood began, and all flesh was destroyed that was on the face of the ground, all in whose nostrils the breath of life. All that was on dry land died. So the rains continued for another 40 days, causing the water levels to continue rising until every living thing on the planet was destroyed. Everything that was alive on the earth perished. All of the underground water sources broke through the ground and came pouring out, and the heavens opened up and it rained. You are to keep them with you, along with the grain, enough for food for you and them. And when the flood came, the waters rose and became great on the earth. And the rain continued on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. So the moment that the door was closed, the flood started. As soon as God shut the door, the water levels began to rise. And for the next 40 days and 40 nights, it didn't stop raining. And take with you 2 of every kind of seed to bear plants, so that you can keep alive and eat them. That's a lot of animals, especially since you need to bring 2 of each kind. Like imagine bringing 2 alpacas on a plane. They shed everywhere. Imagine bringing 20 of them. It's going to be a nightmare. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight and was filled with violence. And I will wipe out every living thing that I have made from the face of the earth. So God basically tells Noah to build this boat and bring certain animals on it, because he is going to flood the entire earth. But then after he lets Noah know that he's going to destroy everything, he gives him the dimensions of the boat. It's going to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. A cubit is literally the length of a forearm plus hand. So that's about 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet tall. That is huge. Enough room for everybody and every animal to fit on there. And then God basically tells Noah to waterproof it. So he uses bitumen or tar, and uses that to cover the inside and outside of the ship. And God saw how corrupt the earth was, how violent the people had become. And God said to Noah, I have determined to make an end of all people, all flesh, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. I will wipe them out along with the earth. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Build it with a tar in its dimensions, length, breadth, and height. And I will pass by and see if anyone is like you, righteous among them. If I do, I will spare them. Now this is where things start getting really messed up. So grab your 66 books and settle in, because here we go. Genesis chapter 6, verse 9 to 22. This is Noah, a righteous man, blameless in his generation. He walked with God. Verse 22 says that Noah did everything just as God had commanded him. Verse 14. In 7 days I will send rain for 40 days and 40 nights. Then God told Noah, you and your sons and your wife and your daughters-in-law are to enter the ark along with you. Okay, now listen carefully, because this is important. Genesis chapter 7 verse 11. The 601st year of Noah's life in the month of Nisan, verse 12 says, And it came to pass in that day that the Lord closed the door behind him. And the flood came. Verse 18. Then the floodwaters rose on the earth 40 days more, and the waters increased and grew great on the earth. So how does this flood compare to other floods in the Bible? Then we have the flood in Deuteronomy chapter 29 verses 22 to 27. Now, some people believe that the flood in Genesis chapter 6 and 7 only references certain parts of the earth getting flooded, and it wasn't the entire planet. Alright, let's take a look at what we learned. Next time we meet again, we gonna pick up in Genesis chapter 8, so make sure you get your 66 books ready and be here. See you soon. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Bible in 66 books.